Today, this video essay will be arguing that animated documentary is the best form of documentary for storytelling memory of past events. Animation can be many things. Seeing as it is something that can be very unique and diverse, many animators and filmmakers use it to their creative advantage. In this day and age, animation is big in the film industry. It's a very loved genre because it always has the ability to offer a fresh story to the audience due to the creative option the animation gives the movie. Animation is special because it shows us visuals that films and documentaries can't. It can be unrealistic and not have to worry, because when it comes to animation, anything is possible. Paul Wells says, animation can defy the laws of gravity, challenge our perceived view of time and space. Over time, animation has expanded into more than just one genre, and has created a filmic hybridity being animated documentary, which this essay will focus on. Animated documentary is a genre where animation and documentary are combined together to make a new form of film. Two famous examples of this are Waltz with Bashir and Tower. Both of these films are documenting past events, and while watching, you can see how the animation really benefits the stories from the past. In Waltz with Bashir 2008, directed by Ari Folman, we see lots of moments where Folman and his old army colleagues are discussing memories from the Lebanon War they took part in. While we hear them telling their memories, the animation shows us visually what they are describing. This then becomes a major attribute to the storytelling, as we can understand better what they are talking about because we can see it. Whereas in a normal documentary, if we heard someone describing a memory from a past event, we would only be able to try and imagine a picture through their words. The animation doesn't have this problem, and has an advantage because, as Andy Glynn says, the film uses animation to evocatively capture a past for which there is little archive. Ari Folman says in an interview while talking about the animation side of the story, it refers so good to reality that you just lose judgment whether it's drawn or not drawn. What Folman says here is true, and shows us that just because it's animated, it doesn't make things feel less real, and in fact because it feels so real, you sometimes even forget it's an animation. We see how sound is used when looking back on memories, and how it is important in recreating the past. The sound works the same way as the visuals do in animated documentary, creating an atmosphere of the memory being looked back on. In Tower, hearing the sounds of screaming, gunshots and police sirens make the story being told so much more captivating, as from the atmosphere created, you realise how horrifying and serious the situation is. In a movie review for Tower, David Edelstein touches on this, saying, "The rifle cracks seem to slice through you." This shows us that even though it is a sound that has been put in to help create an atmosphere, it goes above and beyond that and makes you feel emotionally associated, as if you're in the story. Edelstein also says, rather than distancing us, the animation brings us closer, as news footage or talking heads alone never could. It puts what's happening in the present tense. What he says shows us that the story being told through animation only gives people more of a connection to the story, and backs up the original argument showing that animated documentary is the best form of documentary for telling the stories of memory of past events. Both of these animated documentaries have one thing in common. They are both looking back on past events that involve a lot of distressing substance. Sometimes as viewers, we see footage that causes us distress. For example, goriness, violence and death. This can put viewers off watching, as for some, it may be too heavy to watch. Watching films and documentaries with off-putting, heavy, frightening images isn't for everyone, whereas animated documentary has animation, which is normally associated with cartoons and animated films that are aimed at kids, because we associate animation like this. It makes the animated footage of past events easier for the eye. Stan Hayward shows this, saying, "When it is horrid, it is acceptably horrid." In conclusion to the argument, we can see how the creativity animation offers invests the viewer more into the story by breaking film boundaries that a camera wouldn't be able to do. This meaning animated documentary can offer so much more to the story than any normal film or documentary ever could. Animated documentary becomes the best for storytelling and can't be challenged, as it can fill visual gaps that no other form of documentary can do.